We're almost at the end of the year, so that of course means I'm going to be looking back and recapping some of my favorite albums that were released in the scene this year. I won't repeat any cliches about what a bad year 2020 has been, because we all know that this year has been as horrible as it has been. So let's focus on the good, let's focus on the music, and the list is in no real order except for one album that is clearly above the rest in my opinion and my favorite album of the year. Jeff Rosenstock, No Dream. It's almost formulaic now. Jeff Rosenstock releases an album, and then when that year's albums of the year list comes out, the album always ends up on everybody's list. But there's a reason why that happens. That's because Jeff Rosenstock is a living legend. Jeff has been able to ingratiate himself into the scene and with punk rock fans, which is hard to do. I mean, everybody loves at least one Rosenstock song, and with No Dream, it's punk rock bliss from start to finish. And this might be the best Rosenstock album, even considering and including all of the Bound Music Industry albums, which is a lot to cover and a lot to say, a lot of weight to put on No Dream, but it is just that good. It deals with love, self-reflection, attacking capitalism, attacking the government. With every release, Jeff Rosenstock increases his status as punk rock royalty, and No Dream is another Infinity Stone added to his Infinity Gauntlet of great punk music. Kill Lincoln, Can't Complain. I said it earlier this year in my ska video, but if there is going to be a ska revival, then Kill Lincoln is going to be the band that's carrying the flag. And just disregarding all the ska jokes and the ska revival memes, Can't Complain is just a great, upbeat punk rock record. While the band has been active since the early 2010s, I think this album really put them on the map, and when you're getting compared to iconic bands like Less Than Jake, you're probably doing something right. Touché, Amoré, Lament. Touché Amoré did the impossible, following up their hardcore classic Stage 4 with an album that doesn't feel like a drop-off in quality at all. If Touché Amoré weren't already considered one of the best hardcore bands in recent years, Lament solidified them as one. Stand Atlantic, Pink Elephant. A really great fun album that just reminds me of the fun, upbeat, bright side of pop punk. The album isn't dark and serious like a lot of many other bands in the scene, and when the scene goes one way or anything goes one way, you need balance. And Stand Atlantic bring balance to the force with this incredibly fun and catchy pop punk album that's going to get stuck in your head immediately. Diet Sig, Do You Wonder About Me? A great mix of the holy trinity of emo, pop punk, and punk. The album has a little bit of everything. On songs like Flash Flood, you get more of a straightforward punk song. Who Are You is a pop punk anthem. And then you have songs like Broken Body that are more, emo-y, almost Pinkerton era vibes. A band and an album that really reminded me of the great and brilliant and underrated Chumped. So don't let this album fall under your radar. Field Medic, Floral Prince. Whether you call it folk punk or emo or any other genre, the simple truth is that Field Medic is one of the most intriguing and interesting and unique artists in the scene today. Field Medic releases music pretty often, and Floral Prince might be my favorite release from the artist. I really like the more raw storytelling aspects that are really amplified, in my opinion, on this album, like on songs I Want You So Bad It Hurts. It really reminds me of Sugarman Rodriguez and his calm catchiness that he implements in his storytelling in his music. Field Medic writes songs that you want to dive into the lyrics. Songs like It's Lonely Being Sober, Older Now, and Talkin' Johnny and June are some of my favorite songs in the scene right now. Field Medic's emo-inspired folk punk is some of the most unique music in the scene right now. It's also some of the best. I think he's an artist that a lot more people in the scene need to check out. I'm Glad It's You, Every Sun, Every Moon, with heavy pentimento vibes, but more on the bright and upbeat side. This album has some great catchy emo songs. I Love Your Lifestyle, No Driver. Twinkly emo mixed with the catchiness of a band like Martha. I Love Your Lifestyle is a band you're going to be hearing a lot of in the next few years. Seaway, Big Vibe. Seaway released some of the best pop-punk songs of the year on their new album, including the title track Big Vibe and Mrs. David. Bad Moves, Untenable. Power pop in all its glory mixed with a band that has a message, all perfectly summed up in the lyrics on the album closer. Maybe this all ends up fine, or maybe it's the end of time. 4 Year Strong, Brain Pain. An album that I think really flew under the radar. The album showcases a more intense 4 Year Strong than ever, as if that's even possible, and when the band slows it down on Brain Pain, it creates some of the best 4 Year Strong songs of all time. Illuminati Hotties, free Illuminati Hotties, this is not the one you've been waiting for. A little Riot Girl, a little Minor Threat, a little Black Flag. This is an album that's like a museum tour of in-your-face punk rock. And now, the album that I think is the best album to come out in 2020, Spanish Love Songs, Brave Faces Everyone. Before we really knew what kind of year this would be, Spanish Love Songs unknowingly gave us the prequel soundtrack to 2020, singing It Won't Be This Bleak Forever, yeah right, summed up 2020 pretty well. Spanish Love Songs capture the feeling of despair and hopelessness so beautifully that the entire scene took notice. Brave Faces Everyone sums up growing older just to live this generic life filled with empty hope and broken dreams, and really attacks this almost need by everyone to celebrate these generic things that happen in your life, like getting a steady job that you hate, even though it has nothing to do with your passion and what you really want to do. The band attacks the notion of being attacked for wanting something more than just a generic life, like on Generation Lost, singing "Half my friends are dead and the other half are depressed." The band's lyrics read like lines from a coming-of-age movie that doesn't end well, like on Losers 2, "Don't you know you were born to die poor, man? Don't you know that you were gonna do yourself in, and you'll always wake up tired, because there's nowhere we go from here." Spanish Love Songs attack growing up in modern America with no jobs, student loans, living with your parents, police brutality, gentrification, and overwhelming anxiety. And even with all those emotional topics and themes, there's nothing I want to do more after listening to the album than be in a club with 500 other people and sing and scream these songs back at Spanish Love Songs. Brave Faces Everyone is a classic album and my favorite of the year. Those are some of my favorite albums released this year. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Please like and share the video. Subscribe if you haven't. Tell all your friends. Follow me on Twitter. Make sure to check out the Spotify playlist linked down below, which features all the music I talked about. Have a safe and happy holiday, and I'll see you next time.